Every beauty has its darkness, and Yosemite National Park is no exception. Beneath its endless forests, towering granite cliffs, and waterfalls as ancient as time itself lies a chilling side to this breathtaking landscape. While visitors came to the park seeking adventure, many have tragically met their end in ways that are as mysterious as they are terrifying. From freak accidents to unsolved mysteries, Yosemite has seen its fair share of deaths that'll send shivers down your spine. Let's dive into 5 of the most disturbing ones that might make you think twice before venturing too far off the beaten path. On July 2nd, 2023, the wilderness of Yosemite National Park buzzed with life under the oppressive summer heat. Hayden, a vibrant 24-year-old with a passion for adventure, stood on the edge of Chilnualna Creek, the rushing waters glistening like liquid silver under the sun. Born on November 11th, 1998 in Santa Rosa, California, Hayden was the epitome of energy and courage. An athlete at heart, he had poured his passion into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, earning his blue belt with pride, and spent his childhood perfecting his swing on the baseball fields of Petaluma Valley. To Hayden, challenges weren't obstacles, they were invitations. When his friends proposed a hike to Yosemite, Hayden didn't hesitate. Adventure coursed through his veins, and he eagerly packed his gear, ready to conquer another trail. The group set out toward Chilnualna Falls, a stunning yet treacherous path renowned for its majestic waterfalls and unforgiving terrain. As the morning stretched into afternoon, their laughter filled the humid air, their friendship propelling them forward. But as the sun blazed overhead, fatigue set in. Seeking relief, they veered toward the inviting waters of the creek, unaware of the deadly force that lurked beneath its calm surface. Hayden crouched at the water's edge, splashing his face to cool down. The icy rush felt refreshing against his flushed skin, but in an instant, that moment of peace turned to chaos. A sudden surge in the current, a force of nature as relentless as it was unforgiving, swept him off balance. His friends froze, horror-stricken, as Hayden was pulled into the roaring torrent. His cries for help drowned beneath the thunderous cascade of water. Panic gripped the group as they watched him struggle against the ferocious current, his form becoming smaller and more distant with every second. The river, swollen from snowmelt and merciless in its power, was a deadly foe. Torn between the instinct to save their friend and the undeniable danger of the situation, they hesitated, knowing one wrong move could claim another life. Helplessly, they called for emergency services, their voices shaking with fear and guilt. For days, Yosemite's rescue team scoured the rugged terrain, their search hindered by the river's ferocity. On July 9th, 2023, the heartbreaking reality surfaced. Hayden's lifeless body was found near Chilnualna Creek. The location was so perilous that it took another 24 hours to retrieve him. His parents, Kevin and Michelle, who had rushed to the park with hearts heavy with hope, were confronted with their worst nightmare. The news sent shockwaves through Hayden's tight-knit community. The adventurous young man, known for his infectious smile and unwavering determination, was gone. A GoFundMe campaign was launched to support his grieving family, and Yosemite officials issued stern warnings about the dangers of its deceptively beautiful rivers. On July 29th, 2023, friends, family, and those touched by Hayden's life gathered at the Marine Country Club to celebrate his memory. Tears mingled with laughter as they recounted his zest for life, his dedication to his passions, and the countless ways he had inspired those around him. Through a memorial fund supporting young athletes at Casa Grande High School, Hayden's legacy continues, a testament to a life lived boldly, even if it ended far too soon. Hayden's tragic story is a stark reminder of nature's duality. Its beauty can be as deadly as it is enchanting, yet his memory endures not as a tale of sorrow, but as a celebration of the boundless spirit of a young man who lived every moment to its fullest. The first rays of sunlight spilled over the horizon on September 6, 2021, bathing Joel Thomason in a warm, golden glow as he stood at the threshold of his home. His wife Amanda watched him with a bittersweet mix of pride and unease. Joel, a 31-year-old Army Reserve from Denair, California, hoisted his yellow and gray Kelty backpack onto his strong shoulders, ready to embark on a solo hike into Yosemite National Park, a place he had known and loved since childhood. This wasn't just another another outing for Joel. With meticulous planning and military precision, he had mapped out a journey from Hetch Hetchy to Lake Eleanor, a remote reservoir cradled in the park's northwestern corner. His pack held all the essentials: a sleeping bag, a hammock, even a red inflatable kayak for the tranquil waters he hoped to conquer. His return was planned for September 9th. As they exchanged what seemed to be a routine farewell, Amanda couldn't shake an unspoken worry, a sense of foreboding she couldn't quite name. Joel was no novice. Standing tall at 5'10" and in peak physical condition, he was an experienced outdoorsman, a skilled hiker, and an adept canoeer. Yet, even the most prepared adventurers can't always anticipate the wilderness's secrets. The trek began as expected. Joel passed through the Hetch Hetchy Trail, greeted fellow hikers, and pressed on into Yosemite's rugged embrace. The serenity of the park welcomed him, the towering trees whispering in the gentle breeze. But as the hours turned to days, Joel seemed to vanish, disappearing as if swallowed whole by the very wilderness he cherished. When Joel failed to return on September 9th, Amanda's unease turned to panic. Days of silence stretched into an unbearable void. Unable to wait any longer, she contacted Yosemite's park authorities, setting into motion a search that would grow into one of the park's most perplexing mysteries. Search and rescue teams mobilized swiftly. Rangers, search dogs, helicopters, kayaks, and boats combed the park's vast and unforgiving terrain. From the open stretches of Hetch Hetchy to the secluded depths of Lake Eleanor, they searched tirelessly. Every trail, crevice, and waterway was scrutinized, but there was no trace of Joel, no footprints, no gear, not even a clue. It was as if he had been erased from the landscape. The park, breathtaking in its beauty, now carried an ominous weight. Joel's disappearance wasn't an isolated incident. Yosemite had seen its share of enigmatic vanishing acts, particularly among solo hikers. Fred Zakar, James Youngblum, and even Richard Judd each vanished without a trace, leaving behind only unanswered questions. Joel's case, however, seemed especially haunting. Even the search dogs, trained to track the faintest scent, came up empty. Weeks turned into months, and the relentless search began to feel futile. Amanda, torn between hope and despair, clung to the possibility of a miracle. But as the wilderness held its secrets close, the reality grew darker. Yosemite, a place of unparalleled natural beauty, had transformed into a stage for a chilling mystery. To this day, Joel Thomasson's fate remains unknown. The silent trees, the still waters, and the vast, unyielding landscape of Yosemite stand as mute witnesses to his disappearance. His story, like the others who vanished before him, lingers as a ghostly whisper in the park's majestic canyon. The allure of Yosemite, with its towering peaks and sprawling wilderness, remains undiminished. Yet, for those who venture into its depths, there is an unshakable reminder. Its beauty can conceal a darkness that defies understanding, a mystery that echoes through time, refusing to be solved. What began as a joyous girls' getaway in February 1999 turned into a horror that would forever haunt Yosemite National Park's history. For 42-year-old Carol Sund, her 15-year-old daughter Julie, and 16-year-old Silvina Palazzo, the excitement of their 4-day vacation masked the lurking shadow of an unthinkable fate. On February 12th, Carol and Julie departed their home in Eureka, California with Silvina, an Argentine exchange student who had become like family. Their destination, Yosemite National Park. The trio boarded a flight to San Francisco with eager hearts, their plans meticulously laid. Carol had even rented a red 1999 Pontiac Grand Prix to ensure they could explore the area comfortably. The trip was meant to be a perfect blend of adventure and bonding, culminating in a reunion with Carol's husband Jens before joining him on a business trip to Arizona. The first leg of their journey unfolded without incident. Julie competed in a cheerleading contest in Stockton, and from there, they drove to El Portal, California, checking into Cedar Lodge on February 14th. Surrounded by Yosemite's breathtaking beauty, the trio spent the next day hiking its iconic trails, blissfully unaware that safety ended where the wilderness began. When they returned to Cedar Lodge that evening, the plans for an early checkout and a smooth return to San Francisco seemed set in stone. But what awaited them that night was no longer in their control. The following morning, February 16th, Jens Sund waited anxiously at the San Francisco airport. The women never arrived. His unease quickly turned to dread when calls went unanswered. Desperate, he contacted authorities. At first, the details were strange but not alarming. The checkout had been completed, the room was tidy, and the keys were left behind. Yet there was no sign of Carol, Julie, or Silvina. Even the Pontiac Grand Prix had vanished. The The search began immediately. Rangers, local police, and volunteers combed Yosemite's vast terrain. Days turned to weeks. Then, a chilling clue surfaced. Carol's wallet was inexplicably found in Modesto, miles away. It was intact, raising disturbing questions. Were they alive? Had they been taken? The suspense deepened. The devastating breakthrough came on March 18, 1999, more than a month after their disappearance. The Pontiac was discovered, burned, and abandoned in a remote area of Stanislaus National Forest, known locally as a dumping ground. Inside the charred vehicle, investigators found the unrecognizable remains of two bodies. They were later identified as Carol Sund and Silvina Palazzo. Forensic analysis confirmed the unthinkable. Both women had been murdered, but Julie was missing. The possibility that she might still be alive lingered, a faint glimmer in an otherwise grim case. Then, a week later, a taunting note arrived. "We had fun with this one," it read, scrawled in chilling handwriting. It included a map marking Julie's location. On March 25th, near Lake Don Pedro in Tuolumne County, searchers found her body. Severely decomposed, Julie had suffered a brutal death. Her throat had been slashed. The heinous nature of the crime shocked the nation. The case took a dark turn again in July 1999 when another woman, 26-year-old Joey Ruth Armstrong, was found murdered near her cabin. Witnesses reported a blue vehicle near the scene, and investigators traced it to Cedar Lodge handyman Carrie Stainer. Stainer, 37, had already been questioned in connection with the Sun Palazzo murders. At the time, he seemed cooperative, blending seamlessly into the backdrop of the investigation. But when he was confronted again, the mask slipped. Stainer confessed in grisly detail to the crimes that had left the nation reeling. On February 15, 1999, Stainer had entered the Sun's motel room under the pretense of needing help. Armed and calculating, he promised the women he wouldn't harm them if they cooperated. He lied. Stainer bound and gagged them, strangled Carol, and shot her to ensure her silence. He then sexually assaulted and killed Silvina before taking Julie to a remote location, where he subjected her to further abuse before slitting her throat. Stainer later claimed insanity, but the brutality of his crimes and his calm demeanor afterward told another story. He was sentenced to death 3 times, one for each life he took. Now, 62 years old, Carrie Stainer remains on death row. His horrific acts left scars, not just on the families of his victims, but on the very spirit of Yosemite National Park, a place once synonymous with tranquility and natural splendor. The murders serve as a grim reminder that even amidst the most stunning landscapes, darkness can lurk, waiting to claim its next victim. The dense, whispering trees of the Sierra National Forest hold secrets. Among them is the chilling tale of Sandra Johnson Hughes, a 53-year-old survivalist and lover of the wild who ventured into the wilderness and seemingly disappeared into thin air. What began as a solitary escape into nature turned into a sinister mystery that has left investigators and family haunted by unanswered questions. On June 26, 2020, Sandra shared her plans with loved ones. The chaos of the world, amplified by a global pandemic, had pushed her to seek solace in the mainland's rugged beauty after leaving her home in Hawaii. Known for her self-reliance and meticulous nature, Sandra was the epitome of a seasoned outdoors woman. Her destination, the Sierra National Forest, with the possibility of visiting Yosemite. As July began, Sandra made her way to Johnson's Meadow, a serene and remote area approximately 10 miles south of Yosemite. To those who knew her, this was Sandra's element. She thrived in the wilderness. But what transpired over the next several days would shroud her journey in mystery and darkness. On July 4th, hikers spotted Sandra walking barefoot through the forest, her face marred by a visible bruise. Concerned, they approached, offering help. She declined, insisting she was fine. This brief encounter would be the last confirmed sighting of Sandra before her trail went cold. The next day, officials discovered her campsite. It was a scene of inexplicable chaos. Her belongings, usually kept with meticulous care, were strewn haphazardly. Documents were scattered, gear left in disarray. It was as if someone, or something, had disrupted her tranquil retreat. Nearby, a second unsettling clue emerged. Sandra's silver SUV was found abandoned near Chiquito Creek, north of her campsite. The vehicle had crashed, though at a speed so slow it defied logic. What had caused her to veer off the path in such an isolated area? Theories swirled. Was she startled by an animal, or was there a far more ominous force at play? Days later, on July 12th, Sandra's sleeping bag was discovered 2.5 miles north of the SUV, just inside Yosemite National Park's boundary. The discovery deepened the mystery. Why had she traveled in that direction? Was she trying to signal for help, or was she fleeing from someone or something unseen? The wilderness offered no answers. Then, on August 9th, 2 hunters reported seeing Sandra near Portuguese Creek. The woman they described was thinner than in the missing person posters, dressed in overalls and a floral shirt. She was leaning against a tree, sipping water, and appeared oddly serene. This sighting rekindled hope, but Sandra's trail vanished again, leaving searchers baffled. For nearly a year, Sandra's case languished in eerie silence until July 2021, when the unexplainable resurfaced. The Gorba family hiking near Shut-Eye Peak stopped for lunch when their 3-year-old son, Hayden, spoke of seeing a woman. "There's a woman in the meadow," Hayden said, his voice chillingly matter-of-fact. "She's lying face down. Her legs are straight up. She can't talk or move." The family was stunned. They found nothing where the child claimed the woman had been. Subsequent searches by authorities yielded no evidence, yet Hayden's words lingered, a haunting echo that hinted at a ghostly presence in the wilderness. To this day, the Sierra National Forest guards Sandra's fate like a jealous secret, its vast, tangled expanse offering only fragments of her story. Was she consumed by the unforgiving wilds, or did something far darker claim her? The disappearance of Sandra Johnson Hughes remains an enigma, her once vivid presence now a shadow cast over the Sierra's timeless beauty. As the forest grows and shifts, it carries the weight of her story, whispering to those who dare to listen, the truth is here, hidden among the trees. As the rain subsided on May 16, 2015, the skies over Yosemite National Park began to clear, casting a golden glow over the iconic cliffs and valleys. For Dean Potter and Graham Hunt, the call of adventure was irresistible. These were not ordinary men, they were base-jumping pioneers, daring to leap from the heavens into the unknown with nothing but wingsuits and parachutes to guide their descent. That evening, they would embark on a flight that would cement their names in the annals of tragedy. Dean Potter, at 43, was a legend, a trailblazer in the world of extreme sports, renowned for his mastery of climbing, slacklining, and base jumping. Beside him was 29-year-old Graham Hunt, a man following in Potter's fearless footsteps. Together, they shared a bond forged in the face of gravity's defiance, bound by their mutual love for the skies and the freedom they found there. That fateful evening, the duo, accompanied by Potter's longtime partner Jen Rapp, made their way to Taft Point, a breathtaking 7,500-foot promontory overlooking Yosemite's timeless landmarks. It wasn't just a jump, it was a ritual, a communion with the untamed beauty of nature, but it was also a risk. Base jumping was illegal in Yosemite, forcing the men to wait until dusk cloaked their daring escapade in shadow. By 7:25 p.m., Potter and Hunt stood on the edge of eternity, their wingsuits zipped and ready. The wind whispered across the precipice, but Potter's vast experience assured him the conditions were manageable. The two adventurers exchanged a final look, a silent acknowledgement of the trust between them, and then they leapt into the void. Potter aimed for the notch in the ridge, a V-shaped gap he had navigated countless times. Hunt veered left, then abruptly shifted back toward the right, an uncharacteristic move that drew Jen's concerned gaze. And then they vanished. A sharp, chilling noise pierced the air. A second, duller thud followed, echoing through the valley like a heartbeat fading into silence. Jen froze, her mind unwilling to process the implications. She waited, staring into the abyss, desperate for the signal, a flare of a parachute, a triumphant shout, anything to break the growing dread. But the valley remained eerily still. Hours passed, and when Potter and Hunt failed to return, Jen's fears became undeniable. She contacted Graham's girlfriend, Rebecca Haney, and together they alerted Yosemite's chief of staff, Mike Gauthier. The search began, every second carrying the weight of hope and dread. The first light of dawn on May 17th revealed the devastating truth. A California state helicopter spotted the crash site. Rangers descended to the jagged rocks below and confirmed the worst. Both Dean Potter and Graham Hunt were gone. Their bodies were recovered, their wings forever clipped. At Taft Point, where they had last stood together, friends and admirers created a shrine. A beer can, feathers, Tibetan prayer flags, and a photograph of Potter. It was a quiet tribute to men who had dared to dance with death on their own terms. The exact cause of the tragedy remains a haunting mystery. Did Hunt's veering maneuvers create a turbulent air pocket that doomed Potter? Or did Potter, witnessing Hunt's fatal crash, lose focus in a moment of heartbreak? The The only witness to the final seconds of their flight was the silent valley itself. Yosemite, eternal and unyielding, remains both a witness and a guardian of their story. Its cliffs and skies now echo with their legacy, a reminder of humanity's unyielding spirit, the beauty of risk, and the fragility of life on the edge.